started off with a piano out of Contact. And somebody in the last video wanted me to show exact presets. So for this video, I'm going to show the presets that I use. And so for this first piano, I used the alt piano, the light edition from Westwood. I don't exactly remember where I found it, but if you can find it, it's a pretty cool piano with like some realistic kind of sounds. And you can't do as many settings with the light mode, but you can still change some of the textures and dynamics, which I think is pretty cool. In terms of how I built the chord progression, it's just chords ascending up the F minor scale. So you see here, it's a F minor 7, then the next one is a G minor 7, which is in the F minor kind of key, and then a G sharp major 7, which is all in that F minor key. And then here it goes back down to that G minor 7, with just some strumming to kind of add some accents. And then here I use the cutting tool to kind of cut up some notes just to add some variety. And I did the same thing here, but I cut up the chord even more, so it feels like kind of a variation of how the chord is played the first time. After that, I took the skeleton of the same chord progression and I laid it on some strings out of Contact, and the bank I used was Session strings, and I used the chamber sound. I went to the Session horns bank from Contact and I copy and pasted the same chord progression onto this horn. After that, I went to Contact again. If you couldn't tell, Contact is probably my favorite bank for this type of sound because their banks are super versatile. I got this xylophone or glockenspiel, I'm not too sure, but it's some sort of bell sound from Jinko Vibes, and this is just a free bank that you can find on Piano Book. And for the actual melody, I kind of just played with the keyboard, so I pressed this button up here, and then I would just manually play in notes with my keyboard until I found something that I enjoyed. And lastly, I went to probably the most goated bank for guitar basses, which is the Rickenbacker bass. This is like really the only guitar bass I use other than some of like the stock ones, because FL has some pretty good stock basses, but this one's like super good. In terms of like how I laid out the progression, it essentially just follows the root notes. This one doesn't go to G sharp because it wasn't sitting as well as when I put it at C. I just think that sat better, more of a stylistic choice. And everything else, yeah, just follows the progression. To finish the melody, I arranged it to tell more of a story, as well as adding some hissing texture so it feels a little more realistic, almost like it was recorded live. I didn't wind up using these drums because I didn't like them. And then after I exported it, on the master I put some OCS 45, which is of course my favorite vintage emulator plugin. It's really great. I recommend it.